article a little bit closer to here in the Twin Cities. Because I've been there. I used to go there quite regularly when I was in, well, not college really. I'd go there more like in my 20s. From Minneapolis Star and Sickle. Minneapolis' biker-friendly rock bar, Whiskey Junction, to close by year end. This thing has been there, I don't know, as long as I have. And then some. This is like the staple. There's a group of bars nestled within, not really downtown, but if you ever hear of the Cedar Riverside area, usually because they're citing Somali stuff, it's kind of the, not really, but somewhat the Somali neighborhood. It's kind of an interesting, there's like Augsburg College, the U of M West Bank campus. Downtown goes right abut it. And then there's just this basically, well, they call it ghettos in the sky. That's where I used to live, Riverside Plaza. And then there's these group of bars, the Caboose, the Joint. I forgot the other one. And hard to really describe it or pin it down. Because there's all, you want to talk about real diversity, go there. It's an interesting area in the Twin Cities. Not worth visiting the Twin Cities for, by the way. But this thing has been a staple. It's been there forever. Another mainstay of the West Bank music scene in Minneapolis, Whiskey Junction, will close by the end of the year. And this time there's blame going around. The owners of the blue-collar, biker-friendly rock and blues hub, which neighbors the Caboose at 901 Cedar Avenue, say Minneapolis' newly passed $15 minimum wage ordinance is driving them out of business, as it does not include tip credit for service staffers such as bartenders and waiters. Whiskey Junction was among the many bars and restaurants whose operators pushed the Minneapolis City Council for such an allowance to no avail. Well, guess what's going to happen now? I wonder where leftist liberal arts majoring recent college graduates can find employment. What can they find employment as? They don't have any real tangible skills. They can't program. They can't weld. Oh, I know they can Uber. Oh, but they need a good car for that. A lot of them can't afford it because their parents aren't rich. Some of their parents are rich, so those kids are taken care of. They just move back to the suburbs. What is a truly poor, now indebted, recent liberal arts graduates from Augsburg, University of Minnesota, St. Thomas, heaven help you if you went to St. Kate's or Hamlin, what can they do for employment? Oh, wait, they can wait tables. Oh, wait, no, they can't. Oh, no, they can't. They voted that out. Oh, they can't. Oh, they're driving away all. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, I guess it's just Uber for everybody. Uber alles. Never mind, you guys won't. Remember Byte? You guys remember Byte? It's Byte, B-Y-T-E. Huh? It's a geek gastropub with American Eats. Huh? Did you get it? Remember them? The Star Tribune could not wait to line up. Not just the Star Tribune, but every Minneapolis and St. Paul Twin Cities publication could not line up to suck the cock of these two guys who were going to start this company, this restaurant called Byte. And the thing that they were going to do, the selling point wasn't their clever name, by the way. The selling point was that they were going to pay their employees a livable wage and give them vacation, and they're going to pay for health care. And they were going to, and oh my God, the singing and the praises, and Orchestra Hall came out, and they sang, and they created an entire album singing the praises, a 12-track album singing the praises of Byte. And then 10 months later, they fold because they went bankrupt. They weren't making money. And then there's like a little blurb in this Minneapolis St. Paul Business Journal. Oh, Byte's closing now. Oh, really? And now this is how, it's got to pain people at the Star Tribune to write these articles. What's this? What's the person's name? Chris Riemenschneider? Did it hurt to write this? Did it go against everything in your journalism class that you were emotionally taught? It's got to suck, doesn't it, that they're closing businesses down? Oh, wait, maybe you're of the type that there should be no businesses. They'll all find jobs. Don't worry about it. We just hope the economy turns around. I remember when that was everybody's business model, like 10 to 7 years ago. Well, and hopefully the economy will turn around. Like, that's no, we're not lending on that. We are not financing your stupid project based on, we hope the economy turns around. After recent changes in the Minneapolis ordinances regarding minimum wages and primarily the lack of tip credit provision, we feel now is the time to get out of the bar business, owners Tom O'Shea and Elizabeth Little Obregon wrote in a Facebook post announcing the toughest decision to close. We fought for a voice to explain how minimum wage without tip credit would be detrimental to the small bar and restaurant owners of Minneapolis, but we were not listened to. Therefore, it's on to the next adventure. Yes, but you're not going to be listened to by the Minneapolis City Council. At that time was Betsy Hodges, and then whoever else was up. But I guarantee you, we don't even have to look this up, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you, if you go to the Minneapolis's website, I don't know if the new mayor has taken over yet. We had an election. I don't know when. I think probably 2018 is when they're inaugurated. If you go there now, you're going to still see the people responsible for this minimum wage tax increase. And not one of the city council members has ever worked a real job, has ever ran a business, or ever majored in a real subject. Not one of them. They have always relied on government handouts, government money, grants, or charitable donations. They have never had to work or run an entity that had to be economically efficient, which means it generated more resources than it consumed. They are perpetual economic and mathematical parasites, and they simply do not understand how real businesses work. They don't. And that's why it fell on deaf ears. And this is why I'm telling all you young aspiring, or even old aspiring, any aspiring entrepreneurs, investors, capitalists, or even you're a leftist and you want to open up a coffee shop, you don't invest in large metropolitan areas. Unless there happens to be a large metropolitan area that is not a leftist shithole that I'm unaware of. But every major city, you don't invest in. You don't invest in Detroit. You don't invest in Seattle. You don't invest in Minneapolis. You don't invest in Chicago. You don't invest in Dallas. Even who dang diggly Dallas. Yeah, no. No, there are not Republicans there. Houston? No. You don't invest in Houston. I think it was a lesbian mayor they had the last time. Nothing wrong with that, but she voted leftist as always. You don't invest in Phoenix. You don't invest in LA. You don't invest in San Francisco. You don't invest in San Jose. You don't invest in Miami. You don't invest in New York. You don't invest anywhere in New Jersey, the entire state. You just don't invest in New Jersey. And you don't invest in I'm trying to think of another large city. You don't invest in Nashville. You invest in the burbs. You invest outside the county area because the counties still get you. That's another layer of government that get you. You invest where people are not going to screw you over and view you as an asset of the city. You go where you are not viewed as being owned by the city because they have a very communistic view of everything in their domain. Everything. I point it out again to give you an example. This is apolitical. If you leftists can listen, I know you leftists, some of you entrepreneurial leftists who want to go and start businesses, or you want to buy rental property, or you want to do something to make a little bit of scratch. All right, I'm trying to help you. So if you could set aside politics and let's just look at things that happened, we'll go back to Minneapolis. Minneapolis passed it that not only do they keep jacking up property taxes, by the way, indicating you don't own your own property, you merely rent it from the city. They all of a sudden passed a law this year where you cannot reject, you can reject Section 8 applications, but you can't refuse Section 8 applications. Like in the olden days, say, do you accept Section 8? No, we don't. And then they go on and find some other schmuck to destroy their property with. But now you have to say, yes, we accept. Well, you can't say no. Yeah, everybody does now. All landlords accept Section 8 applications. Now they can reject you on financial grounds or whatever else. But imagine that. Now, do you really own your property if you cannot determine who you take as tenants? And you say, well, we could still do background checks. I still have some control. Yeah, but you have less control than you did now. Then you throw in the inspectors and the regulations. Oh, forget it. Forget it. You don't own your property. At best in the Twin Cities, whether it's your business, whether it's your property, rental or not, any kind of venture. Any kind of asset you own is a joint venture between you and the city of Minneapolis. And those fucking incompetent, not one day of experience, leftist communist fucktards called the city council and the mayor. They're like the mafia, but they're spineless, and they use the police to do their dirty work, to force you to give them their take. And what do you get in return? I'd like to think in the olden days, it wasn't fair. Well, I got to pay taxes if I want to use the road. We get roads, plowing, police, cops. No, you get bike paths, and you get initiatives on global warming, and you get more bike paths. Meanwhile, everyone's getting shot in North Minneapolis, and no one's really improving. Oh, but we got the Super Bowl, yay! You do not invest in large liberal cities. Period. End of discussion. You don't. You go to those boring-ass suburbs where there's no crime, more importantly, no taxes. They welcome your business. They're not going to put a local income tax in these regulations. Well, you get it. I mean, even, here's another one. St. Paul did this. We got the Super Bowl coming here. And so, obviously, a lot of people want to Airbnb out their houses. Well, all of a sudden, some little mosquito with its sticky thing called a Democrat liberal politician comes in there and says, we need to regulate this. You need to get licenses before you Airbnb. It's like, who the fuck are you? This is a private agreement between me and another individual as to whether they want to rent my house. Well, you see, we have to make sure you're doing it. And they came in there with the weakest, most snively little cowardly, just scum, slimy little spineless, typical soy boy scum. Well, see, we have to make sure you're doing it right because we have to have regulations, and so we're going to take a tax to afford these. You just want your cut. You're like the pussy mafia. You dare don't like actually go do it. You got to hide behind some noble cause, like the children, the poor, minorities. But you don't own your property. The people of large liberal towns vote for a more commune-like, almost communistic-like approach to people's property and ownership in large liberal cities. And they want to have a say in what you get to rent it out for, what you get to do with your property, what you can sell your property for sometimes, what you can use it for, who you can use it with. No. What you got to pay your employees? No. And it's good. It's good to see that people are getting out of the twin. And it is happening. I'm not saying it because I want it to happen to prove, my political ideology is correct. No, it is happening. Like bike closed down. I know that's just anecdotal. But now this, and if you go to Minneapolis, it's crap. Again, in the 90s, it was cool. It was bustling. Now you go downtown, there's nothing going on. There's not Washington Avenue. Yeah, Washington Avenue. Washington Avenue's got a little bit going on. There's the Hewing Hotel. That's kind of got a little bit of stuff going on by the Monte Carlo and that. But downtown, nah, it's dead. Nicollet Mall, that was like the main drag where all the stores were. That's all gone. Now a lot of that also has to do with people shopping online. But like all the stores down below closed down because Betsy Hodges took so long to redo Nicollet Mall. So you couldn't drive. Well, you could never drive there, but you couldn't walk there. and that Barnes and Noble is gone. A couple bars are gone. Macy's is gone. Saks Fifth Avenue is gone. This was like the I don't know. We call it the Rodeo Drive. It was the main shopping district in downtown Minneapolis. It's all gone. Done. So capital flight is occurring. Incompetent leftist fucks who never worked a real job in their lives, never ran a business in their lives, they have driven business away with their parasitic and entitled, we own that too attitude. You didn't build that. For the folks. And now the latest edition is this. When was it around? We'll probably get through it in the archive. This thing has been there forever, and now it's gone. It's like Nate Clothing. Nate Clothing also went down. That's where I got a couple of my suits. Was there since the 1920s, I believe. O'Shea's and Obregon's worry about the effects of the city's minimum wage law may have been a bit on the early side, however. Oh, really? Are you opining here, sir? Really, you're going to tell them it's a little bit on the early side to, like, hop out of the frying pan as a frog? Small businesses such as theirs won't have to pay the full $15 wage to employees until 2024, with the first bump to a $10.25 minimum wage starting next July 1st. Yeah, but maybe they don't want to pay. Maybe that's why they don't want to pay that. O'Shea and Obregon have owned the venue since 2006. Throughout the past decade, they have hosted live music on almost a nightly basis. The Belfast Cowboys and the Voices, Nicholas David, were regulars in the time. In recent months, rootsy Americana-flavored acts such as Lolo's Ghosts and Doug Collins and the Receptionists, and jammy rockers such as... What's a jammy rocker? Such as Orange Sunshine and Rare Medium filled the calendar. I was just gobsmacked by the news, said Doug Collins, whose group has another gig there Thursday night. They seem to be doing pretty well. James Loney's band was getting a good crowd every Sunday, and we were getting people in too. Everybody who came out seemed happy to be there. It had a good sound. It was a good place to play if you're a band who's not big enough for First Avenue. Whiskey Junk's demise follows last week's closing of the nearby Punk Haven Triple Rock. Oh, the Triple Rock closed too! Oh! Yeah, that was another one of those bars kind of in that unique area. Oh, that closed as well. Which will be turned into a restaurant and special events space, which will close within a year. I added that, by the way. A more kindred venue to the Junction that hosted similar groups, Harriet Brewing in South Minneapolis' Longfell neighborhood, also closed last year. It's getting kind of worrisome, Collins noted. Oh, a brew pub? A brew pub closed? I thought they'd just keep opening. A bar since the late 1800s and a steady live music venue since the mid-80s, Whiskey Junction will be open through New Year's Eve. Holy cow, that's even more established than I thought it was. O'Shea and Obregon have not said what they plan to do with the property. Well, they're going to sell it and they're going to get the hell out of Dodge. They're going to sell it to some sucker who's going to open up a brew pub. Hey, I got an idea, man. Let's open up a brew pub. Although that's the first time I've ever heard of a brew pub closing down. They just keep opening up more and more. All right, that's the Clary Podcast. Gentlemen, check your nuts for testicular cancer. Ladies, remember, donating to the Suman G. Komen Foundation does not screen, prevent, or identify breast cancer. Please go get mammograms. Do not have your boyfriend volunteer to do it. That is not the same. You have to go in and get it done. And then just tell the good word. Spread the good word of Asshole Consulting and the Clary Podcast to family, friends, loved ones, enemies, and people you are genuinely indifferent about. We'll see you guys later.